about this is thank you. Thank you to Caitlin Clark for making our league relevant and so on. But instead, she's been bullied repeatedly by the players in this league. She's been assaulted physically. She's been scratched in the eye. And I mean, all this is on camera. We've covered it repeatedly on the show.
Well, today we are back on the Megyn Kelly show, and this is kind of a hot topic right now. She is going off on Caitlin Clark for kowtowing to the woke party line and in effect apologizing for being white. Because perhaps you saw that she won, Caitlin Clark won Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year award. And Caitlin Clark gave a little speech or gave an interview where she basically apologized for being white and claiming she had white privilege. Yeah, I know, it sounds ludicrous. And Megyn and these guys here on the Ruthless podcast were not very impressed. Now, to be honest, Caitlin Clark, I know that she is the star of the WNBA, about which I know absolutely nothing. I've never watched WNBA. However, I will tell you that the last time I watched the NBA was in 1977. And if any of you old guys out there like me might remember that was when my hometown, Portland, Oregon, their team, the Portland Trail Blazers, won the NBA championship against the Philadelphia 76ers. I think I was in 7th grade, maybe 7th grade. I think I was in 7th grade when it happened. And the feeling, I can tell you, the feeling in Portland and at my school was electric at the time. Bill Walton was amazing. He was on Portland. He was the center for Portland, incredible center, but plagued by injuries. And, of course, everyone loved Julius Erving, Dr. J, on the 76ers. Fantastic. It was an amazing final series. I think Portland lost the first 2 games against Philadelphia and then swept the next 4. It was insane. Anyway, sorry about the reminiscing, but this talk of basketball just made me think of that. I don't actually watch any televised sports these days. But my question is, does anybody actually watch the WNBA? Or maybe are people starting to watch it now because Caitlin Clark is so good? I don't know. You tell me in the comments. In the meantime, let's take a look at why Megyn Kelly is so worked up.
Caitlin Clark of Iowa, but now playing for Indiana in the WNBA, gets honored in Time as the Athlete of the Year. I don't know. I guess they need a lot of covers or something. I mean, whatever. They just want people who are going to sell their shitty magazine. So she gets selected as Athlete of the Year. And
yeah, remember when Time and Newsweek were actual magazines and not just rags?
And what does Caitlin Clark do? Like this woman who's a superstar. She's the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. And she's become a phenom in part because the players of the WNBA can't fucking stand her. Why? Mm-hmm. Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism. It's total racism.
Now, you guys let me know, because as I said, I don't follow any sports at all, much less the WNBA. Is this true, what Megyn Kelly just said? Is she hated because she's not only because she's brilliant and because she's white, basically? Let me know what you think about that, please. I really would be interested to know in the comments.
And one of the things that's been admirable about Caitlin is she just continues to play her game and put points on the board. And she does very well, and she wins games, and she puts butts in the seats, and she sells tickets, and she gets people tuning in on television. And all really we want to hear from anybody about this is thank you. Thank you to Caitlin Clark for making our league relevant and so on. But instead, she's been bullied repeatedly by the players in this league. She's been assaulted physically. She's been scratched in the eye. And I mean, all this is on camera. We've covered it.
Let me know about this too. Is this all true, what she's saying? I really am interested.
Repeatedly on the show. So she gets this honor. And all she has to do is continue staying above it. Thank you. I'm grateful. Love being in the WNBA, and I love my colleagues who I play with, my teammates. That's it. Instead, she decides to go racial. And what she says is she feels the need to acknowledge her white privilege. Basically, she's sorry she's white. She feels really bad about it, though, so you should give her a pass. And then she makes a point of saying, the ones we really need to be celebrating are the black women on whose backs this league was built, which I have to tell you is so condescending
It really
It's
is.
true that most of these black women have been bullying her. And
Interesting. I thought the WNBA was built on the back of the NBA and completely subsidized by the NBA. Again, I don't know, but I think I heard that. You guys let me know.
want her to understand it's their league. Hello, you don't own the league. Blacks don't own the league, just like whites don't own tennis or golf. Nobody owns the league. This is America. Anybody can play if they're good enough. But they want her on the knee. You'll bend the knee and you'll apologize for being white, and you will suck up to the black women who built this league before you, or you will be beaten, you will be assaulted, and you will be bullied with no friends. So she does it. She finally did it. She bent the knee, self-flagellated over white privilege, and look at the black women in this league. And I have to tell you, if I were a black woman in that league, I think I'd say, screw you. Because don't treat me like I am the ugly stepsister and you are Cinderella, and no prince is going to look at me unless Cinderella says, oh, give her a little time. Oh, put her in the spotlight for a moment. I would be offended, genuinely offended.
That's actually kind of an interesting point she made there. Yeah, interesting.
By her, like, look over there, look at them. They're not white. They did a lot, too. And here's the other thing. It's totally insincere. And here's how you know it's totally insincere. Because if Caitlin Clark really felt uncomfortable in the spotlight as the newbie who's white, because white people didn't build the league, she wouldn't have said yes to being Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. So either walk the walk or don't. But what you're doing here is trying to have it both ways. You're too cute by half, and you've managed to piss off your fan base. Go ahead and look at my Twitter feed and the comments under my tweet on this. She's lost thousands of fans, maybe more, as a result of this. And you will never appease the race bullies in the WNBA, ever, because you're too popular, you're too talented, and too white. That's it.
Well, I think you completely nailed it. As soon as I saw that statement from her, I was incensed, because it was only a couple of days earlier I'd been telling Duncan's from Indiana. I was like, wow, I see all these clips of this player you've got. She's amazing. She's done great. And I've been following during the season her getting bullied by all these other players who are jealous of her, who are jealous of her success. And meanwhile, these statistics would come out where all the road games where she plays sell out. They're the best selling games of the season is when she comes to town. And
that's brilliant. Okay, it sounds like this guy knows a lot more about it than I do. Yeah, so when they're the visiting team, then those games sell out. They don't sell out for the home games, for other teams or for other games. But it's like that in the NBA too. Like I was saying earlier, when Michael Jordan was playing, for example, I'm sure the Chicago Bulls come to town. Even if your team is an arch rival of the Bulls, everybody wants to see Jordan play, of course. So, fair enough. That's just the way it goes. People like to see excellence. If you're a sports fan, you like to see excellence, obviously.
And for her to turn around and bend the knee to these people who've been bullying her, like you said, it's never going to be enough. It's not just her trying to get these people to like her who've been mean to her. It's her complete betrayal of her fan base. People, for years and years, men have been complaining that ESPN doesn't cover sports. They cover critical race theory, and they're sick of it. People watch sports for escapism, to see competition. Caitlin Clark was an inspiration to so many of my friends' daughters. And for her to go out and say something like this, to try to, like you said, being like, oh, no. Black players need me as a white savior to bring them and highlight them. This racist equity system, all it does is divide Americans. And the result of this election, in large part, was Americans saying, we're tired of that. We've had enough of that. And Caitlin Clark's going right back to that.
And DEI
That's
is
so right.
DEI is a nonsense thing, but can you think of any profession in which it's more nonsense than athletic competition, in which there are statistics and points scored? It's such a preposterous thing to claim somebody has privilege in a competition of athletics. And not to mention the fact of, you would never say something like that about the NBA. where there are
Right.
hundreds of black superstars paid millions and millions of dollars. And by the way, that NBA subsidizes the entire WNBA.
Yeah,
right. So, and she's walking around talking about her white privilege. It's insane.
Well, here's the other thing, Duncan. Here's the other question. I don't remember Serena Williams apologizing for her blackness in
Right.
tennis, which had been dominated mostly by whites. I don't remember Tiger Woods apologizing for his blackness in the PGA, which was dominated by whites. No one would even think of such a thing. They celebrated this new figure in sports who maybe didn't look like all the other figures they knew. They thought it was great. He was to be
what they
celebrated.
all had in
That's
common-
how
what they
normal
all-
people have responded to Caitlyn.
What they all had in common is that they fundamentally changed the sport, and they brought casual fans into the sport to become lifelong fans of the sport. It didn't matter what the color of their skin was. That's what Tiger Woods did to golf. That's what Caitlin Clark did to the WNBA. That's the sort of excellence that should be celebrated. And it's so weird to me that we had that entire ideology fail at the ballot box a few weeks ago, and now she's like the last one to get the memo. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Imagine a world. We got to keep this going because it's like I'm so fired up about it. But imagine a world in which Serena and Venus take over tennis, they crush, and the thought pieces that are being written or the comments that they are required to say are, I just want to acknowledge that tennis was built on the back of white people like Chrissy Everett and Martina Navratilova and Billie Jean King. And, I have black privilege in being here because of my however she wants to attribute that. It wasn't explained by Caitlyn either, exactly how her white privilege got her some more attention in the league. That's the theory by some racists, that the only reason we want to watch Caitlyn is because she's white and we can't stand watching the blacks, but we'll watch the white, which is absurd. She's by far the best. The stats prove it. That's why she's so popular. But in what world would we ever be comfortable saying to these black superstars, you better acknowledge the backs on whose, bodies tennis and golf and whatever white sport you can think of was built? I mean, it's an absurdity. It's racist on its face.
Yeah, Megyn Kelly's upset. And yeah, I see her point. I see her point in the sense that you should never, ever, 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 ever give an inch to these people. Ever. Never apologize for who you are. Certainly don't apologize in any way. Or give this, she didn't apologize. She just said, yeah, I have white privilege. But that is in effect an apology. That has been one of those battering rams that these insane, politically correct, leftist, wokest types have been using for years now. And no, you just can't play that game. The only correct move is to not play the game. And if Caitlin Clark apparently had been doing that, just remaining above the fray, that's the smart move. She should have kept doing it. Just don't even mention it. So I agree with Megyn Kelly for that. But, it's up to Caitlin Clark. It's her business if that's what she wants to do, or maybe she was told to do it. Who knows? But yeah, I'm interested in hearing your comments in the comment section, because I don't know anything about, as I said, about sports in general, and certainly not about the WNBA or Caitlin Clark. But like I said, I'd be interested to hear from you about what Megyn Kelly said about Caitlin Clark and the abuse she has suffered in the WNBA. In the meantime, please like and subscribe. Really helps me grow the channel and continue making content for you.